Thank you for joining me for this video interview. My name is Yahya and joining with me is Khaled. He is one of my mentor's friends. So my mentor basically connected me with Khaled. So I've been asking him for help throughout the year when it comes to resume help, just resources for second year, and overall just if I need any Islamic advice too, he's like the go-to man. Khaled, if you want to just talk about how you know me.
Yeah, man. Well, hey everyone. Thanks for having me today. I'm very happy to be here. How I know Yahya? Well, we met Yahya at an event for the mentorship club at our school called the Schulich Prodigy Program. Yahya was my friend's mentor, and my friend he's actually my mentor, and so it's kind of a complicated relationship here. But yeah, and Yahya, he's been doing a lot of good things throughout the year, trying to help others and trying to improve on himself. And so I'm very happy to be here and to be able to give back to him, and very excited to see what we can do.
Yeah, definitely. So I know Khaled just finished his second year. So what did you like about second year? Did you like any profs, dislike anything? Like what was your highlight of second year?
Oh my God, second year is amazing, man. Okay, so second year, the good thing about second year is that it's very flexible, right? I know most of the people here are going to be going into their first year. Second year is more flexible, right? Because you're already adapted to the system. You have more freedom. It's not all midterms, exams. You do a lot of group projects, right? You are able to improve your soft skills. You're able to improve your real life skills. It's not just, how it was kind of in high school. In first year, it kind of is somewhat like that because they're trying to prepare you, right? They're trying to get you out of that high school mindset. So it's a bit more tough, but once you get through that milestone, it gets better. And in terms of my professors, there were some good professors and there were some not amazing professors, but there were more good than bad. So some of the good profs were the finance professors, Supinder Barbara. So if you guys, are going to second year, try to take finance with Supinder. For accounting, there's Matt Bamber, is an amazing prof. Try to take it with him. For stats, try to take it with Hila. And if you're in first year, try to take stats or data management with Hila. She is amazing. She's the best one. And for Management 2060, which is the sustainability course, we have Hope Shamanda, who's an amazing prof.
Gotcha. And I know how you talk about group projects. Do you personally like group projects or are you not a fan of it?
Oh, I love group projects. They're amazing. They're so much better than midterms and exams because it's basically like an individual assignment, but it's split between four people. So the workload is split. You don't have to do it all by yourself, and you're able to brainstorm with other people, right? So I think in high school we didn't have that many group projects, and in first year we didn't have that many group projects. In second year, there is group projects in every single course, almost every single course, right? Like 80% of the courses. So it's great because you're able to improve your people skills, you're able to improve your communicating skills, how to work in a team, how to manage your time. All these things are essential in the workforce when you graduate and when you get an internship. So group projects are amazing. And if you ever have a chance to work in a group or to present in person, I know it's embarrassing sometimes it might be awkward, but definitely do volunteer to try to do it because it will make you stand out than everyone else. So second year, a lot of group projects for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have like a favorite group project in second year that you did?
Oh, second year? Okay, let's think about this. So we had the finance group project, we had the orgs group project. So the group projects, okay, I'd say my favorite one would probably be the organizational behavior one, just because I felt like I was kind of the leader in that group project. In every group project, you're gonna have people that are leaders, some people that are just followers, and it really depends. Some people are sometimes more busy than others. But for the orgs one, the organizational behavior one that I had, you know, I was more free than everyone else, so I was able to kind of take the lead on that one. So that was my personal favorite one because I was able to really, take the people in my group project, lead them, tell them what to do, and do things how I see it. So, and it was a great success in the end. So it was my favorite one.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So I know like since you did finish second year, would you do anything different if you were to restart second year?
Oh, for sure. So this applies to both first year and second year. But if I was to restart second year, the main thing I would do, the highlight thing that I would say is to take more risks, right? That's the biggest thing. Take on more challenges, talk to more people. And the main thing with university is that you're not losing anything, right? When you do a case competition and it turns out horrible, you're not losing anything. You're just gaining experience, right? And in the end, you pay a little bit of money, but it's the experience that you get that really matters, right? When you talk to more people early on, you build better connections early on, like how Yahya is doing right now, right? When I was in first year, I wasn't doing any of this, right? I was just, chilling by myself, trying to keep my grades up. But when you do all this early on, then you don't fail a lot when you're in when you're in real life in the workforce, when you're working in Deloitte or in EY or whatever companies you guys get in. You already have that experience from university. When you're in your job, you don't fail as much. And when you do fail in university, it's not a big problem because you're just a student, right? You're not losing anything. You're not getting they can't fire you from university. So it's all good at the end of the day. So that's my main advice is just take risks, talk to people, get out of your comfort zone.
Gotcha. And you were kind of talking about connections too as well. Do you think connections are more important in terms of like networking or just connections within your year? So I think you're 2020, sorry, 2025. So is that more important?
Yeah. So, okay, I would say making connections with upper years is very important because that's kind of like the easiest way to start because these are people that were just in your shoes, last year or the year before. So you can probably connect more with them. And after you start connecting with upper years and they help you with a resume, they help you with advice, blah blah blah, they take you under their wing, then you want to kind of, go even further and try to connect with people, in real life. So Schulich has a lot of networking events inside of Schulich and outside of Schulich, right? So they have a lot of conferences, Schulich Accounting Society, Schulich Consulting Club, all these clubs, they host a whole ton of events. The best thing you can do is to go to these events, connect with the people there, talk to them, get their LinkedIn, and then ask them for a coffee chat, for example. When you do that, right, again, you're not losing anything. If they say no, well, you did your part, you gained experience, you saw something new, you heard something new. It's all in your benefit at the end of the day, right? And if they say yes, it's great because now you have number one, a connection that can help you get a job. And secondly, they can, provide you with insights on, the industry that you're interested in, or they could help you, kind of improve your networking skills, improve your talking skills. So that's kind of the way you want to approach it is to just, start with what you know, what's easier for you, and then kind of just branch out.
Gotcha. I know we sidetracked a bit to coffee chats, but like I know you've completed 2 years at Schulich now. Is there something that you like, dislike? Like, what's your take on the Schulich environment?
Okay, so the Schulich environment. All right. Okay, so Schulich has a great reputation, right? My main issue with Schulich is the social life, right? I know that's a very important topic for people, in high school and first year. Maybe that's something that Schulich is not as good as other business schools is the social life because it's very competitive, right? And it is a good thing because Schulich has a great reputation. Almost everyone that goes to Schulich lands an internship at a very big company, right? And I think 90% of Schulich graduates get a job within 2 to 3 months. So that's not those numbers are not in any of the other business schools, right? Not to the same degree. So that's the advantage of Schulich is that you're almost guaranteed a good future, right? As long as you put in the effort. Yeah, the bad side of it is that it is very competitive. Everyone's working hard. Everyone's focusing on the grades. Everyone's focusing on their careers, right? So you wouldn't find as much time for social life. And at the same time, because it's a commuter school, right? So you find people coming from all over the GTA. So for example, I live in Mississauga and we don't have big groups again. As I said, like social life's not that strong. So I only have like, a group of like 4, 5, 6 friends. And they all live in like Scarborough and Markham, right? And I'm here in Mississauga. So it's very difficult to keep a good relationship with your friends throughout the summer vacation, throughout Christmas vacation. And that's a disadvantage because most likely not everyone's like that, but for me personally, my friends are my friends from high school. These are the people that I see every day because they're just in my area, right? Usually your friends, unless you live on residence, they're not going to be in your area. So that's one disadvantage. But aside from that, it's a great school.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I'm from Saga too, but I know like sometimes like I get this one friend usually to come from Etobicoke to Mississauga sometimes, and I do like the vice versa too. Like I go to Etobicoke too. So yeah, I guess like the commuter life is kind of killing Schulich, but also if you have friends that can take the initiative to like commute, I guess like outside of school time too. I guess it could be a bit social, but yeah, I definitely agree. Like it is kind of dead at Schulich.
100%.
Now let's kind of transition to like first year. If you could like put your shoes into that, like if you remember, how did you find your first year at Schulich? Like, was it intimidating? Was it like, what was your opinion on it?
I guess from the perspective of the new grade 12s, from the new first years, it's tough because you're just kind of thrown into this new system where there's no lunch time, there's no time specific time where you're studying at this time, you're eating at this time, you're sleeping at this time, right? You kind of have to just figure out things your own way. You have to if you didn't use a calendar in high school, now you're kind of you're forced to basically buy a calendar and start using it, right? Which is like a big like, wake up call for me. I never had a calendar in my life, right? Never needed it. So time management, that's definitely the biggest issue. But once you finish first year, once you get through that milestone, that's it. It becomes much easier. Second year, you're already adapted. You know what you're doing. You know everything. It might take some time, but by the time you get to second year, more or less, you'll have a general good idea of what you need to do. And so the best way to, I guess, to overcome that in first year is to just try your best to have as many friends as you can, right, to help you out. Try to stay as organized as you can. Try not to procrastinate as much as you can so that you don't fall too deep behind. But if you do that, if you stay on top of your th tasks, you'll be completely fine by second year, hopefully.
My follow-up question to that would be, were there any like difficult courses in first year that it took some time for you to get your head around?
Bro, okay, so first year courses are not that difficult, right? Because economics or accounting or marketing or any of the courses in high school, then first year is gonna be a piece of cake too. I think all the courses for me were easy except for accounting, just because I never took accounting in high school ever. I never thought that I was going into business. I decided very late, so I never took accounting in high school. So that for me was like the biggest wake up call. Like I never, thought it would be that difficult. But again, the people that took accounting in high school, to them it wasn't, at least the first course wasn't that difficult. The main issue with first year, again, is just adapting, right? Because if you don't plan out what you're doing, if you don't plan out when you're working on this task or this task or this task, either you're gonna procrastinate to the last minute, or you're just only gonna be focusing on school and you're not gonna make time for friends, family, sleep, eating, etc. And you're just gonna burn out super early. So once you get to second year and third year, you'll see that okay, first year wasn't really that bad. It was just it seems hard because it's the first step in your undergraduate career.
Guess we can transition a bit into clubs and like extracurriculars. So I know you're a part of one club at Schulich. So in your opinion, how important are clubs at Schulich?
Oh, clubs are so important at Schulich. They're extremely important, right? Because that's where you meet people, right? If you're not meeting people in terms of like, socializing, that's where you meet people. That's where you're able to easily network with people because, it's kind of your job, right? You're not, you don't have to, kind of force yourself to do it as you have to maybe do when you're socializing, when you have to introduce yourself to people. In clubs, you're working with other people. You're having meetings with them, so you're naturally always talking with them. You're getting to know them. And it's very important because, if you do join a club that you're interested in, for example, if you're interested in consulting and you join SEC, the Show Consulting Club, you're regularly gonna be communicating with the president of SEC or the vice president, who most likely is involved, in the consulting field outside of school, right? Maybe they're in MBB, they're in, a big company. So that's one extra connection that you've got that can help you get into that industry, right? And you build friendships, right? So it's one side you're socializing, you're making friends, and one side you're building professional connections, right? And the second thing is that you're building on those soft skills, right? Because you're planning meetings, whether you're in marketing, events, finance, whatever, you're always, involved in the meetings, you're involved in the events, you're involved in, some form of, function within the club, right? So you're always building on those skills that there's very important skills, communication, time management, organization, right? All of that. So, and if you don't get into clubs, you won't get another opportunity to do that, right? Because if you just like, do your homework every day and go to sleep, you won't get that far. Case competitions are also very important. I myself didn't do that many case competitions. I didn't like them that much, but case competitions are amazing because you're put in, the spot. You're given real life cases of how, real companies work. And so you're able to kind of put yourself on the spot, get out of your comfort zone and, test out how you would, react in real life. And that kind of saves you a lot of effort and a lot of time when you get in the real world because you already have a lot of experience presenting, you have a lot of experience analyzing, you have a lot of experience working in a team. So 100% case competitions and clubs are very important. One thing I just want to say, right, for the people that are going to see this is like school comes first at the end because when you apply for jobs, they do look at your GPA. So school does come first. You want to maintain a good GPA. And I think that's also a mistake that I made when I was in my first year is that I just like tried to focus on clubs and tried to focus on extracurriculars because I didn't, I wasn't really into studying that much. But I think that's a mistake, right? I think focus on your GPA first, and then when you have a good control over like, your school and your time management, all that, then start looking into clubs because, you know, it's very easy to get into clubs if you have a good GPA. But if you don't have a good GPA, you can't really reverse your transcript, right? Once you finish first, once your marks are on your transcript, they can't go back.
Gotcha. And I know executive recruitment is usually pretty important for first years too. Let's say if you don't get any executive positions and you're just a general member throughout the year, does that hinder your chances of getting internships?
Okay, so I know a lot of people who got into, well, not a lot, but I know the people that got into the big four, for example, without having extracurricular executive positions. But in order to do that, you would have to have some form of other experience. So maybe if you have like a side hustle, or if you've opened your own business before, you're an entrepreneur, you have some other form of work experience, even if it's just volunteering, but it's related to the field that you did, then maybe you wouldn't need an executive position. But it helps a lot when you're an executive because you're showing that you're taking initiative, you're showing that you have experience within the fields that you're applying to, and it shows that you've put yourself on the spot, you've gotten out of your comfort zone, and therefore you're qualified to work in those companies that you're applying to.
Gotcha. And I know within business schools, sometimes there could be this like fear of imposter syndrome. Like there's always someone who's doing better than you. And that's like pretty huge on LinkedIn and just like talking with people. So how do you overcome that fear?
I've had that fear for so long, and it's such a stupid fear because in the end, you just have to look at it long term, right? Yeah, there's always gonna be someone doing better than you, and that person, there's someone doing better than them, and that person, there's someone doing better than them, right? And it just keeps going on. But look at it long term, right? Everyone at Schulich and graduates. I haven't heard of anyone who didn't graduate. Everyone at Schulich lands an internship, right? Some people land internships after their fourth year. Like the first person that I networked with, he got his internship at Deloitte after he graduated, right? And then you have obviously the first years and second years that are stressing that, they didn't get into Big Four and MBB in their first and second year, right? So I think it's a lot of unnecessary stress. Like in the end, everyone gets an internship. Even if it's late, it's not a big deal, right? Everyone just prioritizes what's important to them. And how to overcome it, like I'm telling you, you gotta try your best. You gotta set your priorities. You gotta set your own goals, right? Don't take other people's goals as your own goals, right? See what's important to you, right? Like for me, what was important for me in my first year is that I maintained a certain GPA by the end of first year, right? Because that was my main fear that I wouldn't be able to maintain a GPA. And so that's what I focused on. So first year, I didn't get into that many clubs, right? I started getting to clubs summer after first year. So after I maintained the GPA, then I started moving forward into the clubs. But there were some people, first semesters that were already part of like 10 clubs, right? And they already have like a 9.0 GPA and blah, 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 right? So, and it's always those same 50 people, right? Like that's something that an upper year told me, right? It's always the same 50 people in every year that are a part of 50 clubs that have a 9.0 GPA that are a part of every competition, right? But there are the other 450 people, right, that are struggling the same way that you're struggling and they're not showing it, right? That's something also like to say sometimes is like everybody shows off their success, nobody shows off their failure, right? So if you're failing or if you feel like you're failing, no, there like 400 other people like you are failing, but nobody likes to show it off. Everybody only likes to show off their success on LinkedIn and stuff. So that's something that gives me comfort and keeps me going. And as someone in third year, like I've overachieved way higher than I thought I would when I was in first year in terms of extracurriculars, in terms of GPA, in terms of job opportunities, in terms of networking, in terms of everything. I never thought that I would be where I am right now. And it's the same thing for all of my peers. So, you just gotta trust the process and just really just do your best and set goals and priorities. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's so true. Sometimes we kind of forget how large Schulich is, and especially our cohorts too, because it's like almost 500 to 600 people. And you're always stuck like looking at that like one or two people within that cohort. So that's like a good perspective change in like how many people there are at Schulich. I know we've been like talking a bit about internships too. So I know you have landed an internship, I believe, this year. So Schulich still doesn't really have co-op. So do you think like finding internships for the summer is harder without co-op?
Oh, without co-op? Okay. I don't think so because Schulich has a very amazing reputation. Like if you were to, I remember one of the KPMG recruiters told me one time that 70% of the staff at KPMG are Schulich graduates, right? Which is pretty crazy, right? And it's the same thing for EY and Deloitte. Like, the big four, a lot of other companies, they have a very good relationship with Schulich, right? So Schulich has an amazing reputation. So co-op students at Laurier and other companies, they still have to go through the same struggle that we go through. It's not like they're guaranteed a job. They still have to apply. They still have to do the interview. They still have to do a lot of things. So for me, it's just like, okay, we're both doing the same effort. They have co-op, maybe gives them an advantage, but we have a great reputation, right? I'm pretty sure Rotman and Queens, they also don't have co-op. So it's kind of even, right? So in the end, I would say they don't have an advantage. If anything, we might have an advantage. But yeah, I've never thought that, students with co-op have an advantage because we're both putting in the same effort at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. I know like earlier you were talking about that you were going into accounting, and there might be some people who are listening that also want to pursue accounting at Schulich. So do you have any tips, resources, clubs that you've been using or are participating in that's helped you with accounting recruitment?
I would say the best way to start is to start, networking with people, to do coffee chats with people, to learn about the field because I feel like, at first I didn't know what is audit. Like, I just hear that word a lot. I don't know what audit is, right? So what I did is I started attending, those events at Schulich first at Schulich, like within the building, from all the big four companies, all the networking sessions, right? So I kind of get a better idea of really what is audit, right? What does it mean to be an audit intern or an audit associate or whatever, right? And then after I got a better idea of, what it is, that's when I kind of started focusing more on accounting in terms of applying, right? So instead of just applying to everything, I just started applying to specifically, accounting, specifically audit, right? And I fixed my resume and my LinkedIn and everything to that specific field, to improve my chances. So I guess like one tip I would give is like instead of, it's good to apply to everything when you're in your first year, but what you want to try to do is to try to focus on one thing. So talk to a lot of people, try to find one thing that you're interested in and then just focus on that one thing if you're interested in it, right? Because it's very difficult to, to be focusing on five different fields, right? Because you're gonna have to have different resumes, different, people to network with. It's just it makes things more complicated. It's much easier if you just apply, all of your effort to one specific field.
For those starting second year in the fall, so like I'm starting second year in the fall, do you have like any general advice for us?
Yeah, just prepare for a takeoff, bro. It's gonna be it's gonna be a tough year, but um, second year, okay. I'll tell you one thing. It is, for my personal opinion, second year was easier than first year, right? Just because first year it's just such a big jump, right? With like, you're exposed to so many different people. Like when I went to high school, all of my friends they all lived in my area, so it was we were all the same people, right? Like I live in Mississauga, so Mississauga, there are a lot of like Muslims, for example. There are a lot of Arabs or a lot of, Indians, Pakistanis. So I'm used to those people. But then when you go to university, you're exposed to a lot of different people. So, and you just kind of have to adapt, right? That jump from high school to university, it's very big. So first year is tough in that sense. Second year, now you're more adapted. Now you know how to study, right? Now you know how to talk to people. You're used to the system. You know what to avoid, what not to avoid. So it's much easier in that sense. Like I was much less stressed in second year than I wasn't first year, even though the load in second year is heavier. So I would say my main advice is just, I mean, what did I even do second year, honestly? My main advice is just, bro, just don't stress, work hard because second year, as I told you, it's much more flexible. Professors, like I'm telling you, first years, they're so strict with you. Second year professors, they're so chill. They're so much more accommodating. So just, honestly, just do your best, right? And second year, it's very important second year that you actually start doing extracurriculars. Like you can't just focus on, I don't think you should just focus on, school in second year. Like you should focus on school, but like second year, you want to start focusing on like, internships and extracurriculars. So if you haven't gotten into that many clubs first year, second year, start thinking about, okay, how am I going to get into clubs? How am I going to get, maybe do it one or two case competitions if you're interested in it, right? Second year is really when you really want to get out of your comfort zone because that's when you're going to explore what you're going to be specializing in your third year and in your fourth year. So you want to have a good idea. You want to explore marketing. You want to explore accounting, finance, consulting. You want to get a good idea about everything so that, you make the right decision.
Again, thank you so much. Like even for as a second year, you gave me so much more insights into like what to expect. And for like first years that are coming to Schulich, I'm pretty sure they have so much more information that they didn't have before.
Yeah, man. No, no, no. I really enjoyed my time here. And, when I was in first year and in second year, I struggled a lot. So, and I had a lot of people that helped me when I was from upper years. So, I took it upon myself to help others. So, if you ever need any help, anytime, always let me know. I'll try my best. And if any people, for the people that see this video, they want to reach out to me, I don't know, maybe you could just drop like an Instagram tag or something. They could reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to help. All right. Well, I guess I'll see you soon and best of luck in your second year.